Are you feeling a bit overwhelmed because you need to create an animated video presentation on a deadline and you've never used Adobe After Effects? Or perhaps you are new to After Effects and would just like to explore the program? Either way, this video presentation is for you. You could spend hours of time on YouTube watching tutorials that either give you too much or too little information, or even download the program only to find that your computer can't run it. Instead, this concise three-part presentation is designed to ensure you don't waste a minute of your time struggling with obstacles often faced by first-time After Effects users. We will answer the what, where, and how of After Effects. However, if you've already downloaded the program, feel free to skip to the section that is most relevant to your learning needs. Adobe After Effects does a variety of things for many different professions. It is a tool used for video compositing, character animation, moving titles or logo designs, and video effects. Basically, it brings to life any motion across the screen. This can be a simple title to a complex learning video. After Effects is not a video editing program. For that, you will need another software. Whether you're running a Mac or PC, before you download Adobe After Effects, you need to check to see if your computer has enough RAM to handle this large program. The minimum amount of RAM required to run After Effects is 8 gigabytes. However, this is not ideal. In fact, even with 16 gigabytes of RAM, you may experience some frustrating lag within the program, but 16 will get the job done. The ideal amount of RAM is 32 gigabytes, which allows After Effects to run completely smooth. Before moving to the next section, please pause the video and check the RAM on your computer. This will take a minute of your time now, but will save time in the long run if you were to discover that your computer is not equipped to host the program. If you discovered that you have 16 to 32 gigabytes of RAM, you are ready to download After Effects. The next step is to navigate to the Adobe website /products/After Effects. At this time, you will need to decide if you would like to experience a free trial or buy After Effects as part of Adobe Cloud. If you are a student or teacher, Adobe offers After Effects along with several other of its programs for $19.99 a month. However, if you are unsure if you want to make this financial commitment, I suggest the trial version, which will allow you to explore the program for free to evaluate if it will fit your needs. Please pause the video and follow the directions on the Adobe website to download After Effects. Now that you have downloaded After Effects, you are ready to open the program. Click the AE icon on your desktop and you will find yourself on the After Effects homepage. This is where you will start your first project. Click New Project. For now, you can keep the default project name. However, you will want to set your width to 2560 and height to 1440. This is a useful default setting for YouTube videos and other online hosts. Next, change your frame rate to 60 frames per minute and your duration to 3 minutes. This represents the length of your project. Don't stress too much about this, as you can add or subtract minutes as you are working on your composition. Click OK. You made it! Welcome to After Effects! Don't panic. This workspace may look overwhelming, but it is easily broken down into 5 simple sections. The first section is the composition panel. This will give you the preview of the project you're working on. You can think of it as a stage where eventually your presentation will perform. Next, located at the bottom, is the timeline panel. As you will soon discover, this is the main panel where you will do the majority of the work on your project. It also reflects the length of your presentation. To the left is the project panel. This holds all of your media pieces for the project you are working on, similar to a library, but includes JPEG images, PNG files, video, and music. At the top is the Tools panel, which offers type and shapes for you to include in your project. And finally, on the right side is the Work panel. This panel hosts a mix of different functions, everything from effects to practical actions that will complement your tools and media. Welcome to part 3. I'm so excited you made it here and to have you walk through a working presentation with me. Everything you observed today, you're going to be able to apply to your own presentation. You'll notice my presentation is this little whimsical counting fish, but don't worry, your topic and media will look completely different. But what you learned today, you can take those principles and apply them to whatever you're doing. So let's get started. We're going to come down here, highlighted in blue. You can see the timeline panel, and there are a few things I'd like you to note here on this panel. Number one is we have a picture, We have a T for some text, so we know we have some pictures in this presentation along with text. And we have a star that lets us know we have a shape. In this case, our shape is a rectangle that is our background. You'll also notice that all of these are labeled. And this is only 8-layer long project here, but you can imagine if you have 50 layers, how important it is for your sanity to keep each thing labeled so that you know what it is and you know what you're working on. The other thing you're going to use to help you stay organized is you're going to color code your layers, and that's going to help you know as you get farther and farther in your presentation what layer you're actually working on. So we're going to change a color right now. Let's just change the background color, sandstone, to pink, and you'll notice the corresponding bar turn to pink all the way across. And what that tells us is that this piece of media, in this case the shape, the rectangle shape of the background, runs the entire length of the presentation. And if we go up here, we can see our time ruler and see that this presentation is just 16 seconds long, but that background runs the entire 16 seconds. So if I take my time ruler slider there and I pull it across the 16 seconds, you notice that the cream background stayed throughout. So that brings us back up to our composition panel. And if you remember, when we talked about the composition panel, I recommended that you may find it helpful to think of this as a stage or a play where you have a background, some props, and then each piece of media that you put in your presentation acts like an actor that comes on the stage for a certain amount of time. It does something while it's on stage, right? And then it exits and goes off stage. And it's very exciting in Adobe Effects because for every piece of media that you bring into your presentation, you get to choose how they come in, how long they stay, what they do when they're there, and how they exit. But to do that, you need to know how to actually bring media in. So in that case, let's go up by the project panel and you will see File, Import, File. And you're going to go on your computer to where you have your stored media, whether that's images or maybe it's some graph, maybe it's something for biology, you're doing a presentation. You're going to go find the image that you need, keep it all in one folder, nice and organized. In this case, I'm going to grab some seaweed and we are going to import it into this presentation. You'll notice seaweed appeared right here in my projects panel, but one thing it didn't do is it didn't appear in my timeline or in my composition. And that's because if you remember, I told you before that the project panel functions as a library. It's going to hold your media there for you until you're ready to use it. So in this case, let's use it. I'm going to bring my timeline slider about here, about 6 seconds into my presentation. And I'm going to take that seaweed, highlight it, and I'm going to pull it to that time. You'll notice right there that After Effects just put my seaweed exactly at that time, represented by this purple bar. So it starts at 6 seconds and goes through the 16 seconds. Now, if you pull your media in and you decide you don't like where you put it, no problem. Just go to the bar and slide your bar back and forth and adjust it where you want. You can even shorten your bar or lengthen your time that you would like that piece of media to be in your presentation. In this case, I actually want the seaweed to be in the entire length of the presentation. I don't want it popping in at a certain time. I want it to be just part of the scene. So I'm going to pull it back to the beginning of the timeline and let it rest in there the whole length of the presentation. You might notice right away, well, that doesn't really work because my seaweed is hiding my words. And in fact, it's even competing with my actor there, the fish. And so again, you can think of the seaweed like a prop. It's really put too much in front. It's blocking my actor. So no worries. If you bring media in and you don't like its placement, you just go to the timeline panel, click whatever media you want to move, and in this case, my seaweed, and I'm going to pull it down to my background. Now, right away, you'll notice that it went right to my background underneath my waves, which I don't like. And that's okay because I can move it again. I'm going to grab seaweed again and I'm going to just move him there right above my waves. I like that a lot better. And how nice that I had those waves organized and called labeled waves so I knew exactly where to just pop my seaweed in. The other thing that you'll notice is quite large. If you pull media in and you don't like the size, no worries. Make sure your media is highlighted in your timeline panel, but in your composition, you can just grab the media by sticking your mouse on there and moving it around anywhere you like. So if you would like your media in a different position, that can easily be changed. In this case, I am going to just pull it back and maybe I still find, let's see my words again where they are. I still find that it's a bit large. So to resize any media, you're just going to click this little square right here and you're going to hold the shift key and that will maintain your proportions, but you can resize any image, any even a set text that you bring in, anything you bring in, you can just resize. So in this case, we're going to pull this down even a little more. Let's just get it a little smaller. And I'm going to move it over. And that works. And I'm going to leave that guy for now. We'll come back to him later and maybe add a little pizzazz to him. But let's leave it and let's go over and look. We're looking at my name right now. And you need to be able to add some text to your presentation. So to do that, you're going to want to go up to the Tools panel, this small panel at the top of your screen here, and click the T icon for text there. You get a bounding box and you can just type in the text that you would like in your presentation. And right away, you're going to notice that that text is very spaced out. Well, there are three things that you can do to manipulate text. So one of them being that we can go to paragraph and you can see that this is actually picked where it's justifying all, just like in a Word document, but I can actually center it, move it to the left or move it to the right. So paragraph is going to adjust your text within the bounding box. The other thing that you can do is adjust the character of your text. So maybe I think it's a little bit big and I just want to make it smaller. You can resize here. You can also change the font here. Okay, lots of options for fonts. You can also adjust spacing and basically anything you can do in a Word document you can do in this area. The other thing you could do is change the text color. You can even customize a color by clicking the eyedropper and clicking anywhere on your presentation to make a nice, pleasant color that goes with your presentation. You think, well, that's great. I guess it's kind of aligned to the left, but what if I wanted aligned to the center of the page, like my words are here, my text is here? No problem. You're just going to go up to Align in your work panel and you can see different options, align left, horizontally, right, etc., for how you want it aligned in your composition. And in this case, we just are going to do it in the center. And if I want to, I can just grab it and move it down. Okay, so align, paragraph, and character to change different options with your text. The most important thing to notice, though, about your text, besides the fact that it came on the screen, is down here in this coordinating bar. Once again, Adobe After Effects in this case just put it the entire length of the 16-second presentation. So hello is staying without. If you don't want your text, any text staying in for the entire length, all you have to do is just grab it, slide it, and shorten it and say, I only want this actor, in this case the word hello, to come in at this time, and then I'd like it to leave at this time, and represented by your timelines panel. So no problem. Easy to change, easy to move, and decide when and how. Maybe you want new text coming in, and you just type another word, and again, decide how long you want that word in there. So I don't need this text in here, so we're going to go ahead and delete it. So I'm clicking on it. I'm just going to go backspace, and there it's gone. And you can do that for any of your media items. Just click on them and backspace, and they will leave your presentation. So we're going to move on to the one most important part of After Effects, possibly, arguably, and that's keyframing. And so keyframing is very similar to having a director that is going to tell your actors what to do. So in this case, you can see something that I've already keyframed. Oh, I'm sorry, let's back up a bit. Any media can be keyframed. So we have a word right here, a text right here that can be keyframed. We see transform. We also see the seaweed has transformed. So all of these different pieces of media have the word transform, and that means that we can keyframe them. So I'm going to click um, my name in this case that we're going to work in. And again, you can see that it has already been keyframed to opacity. So let's talk about what that means. What that means is I, as a director, told After Effects that at this time, at the beginning of the presentation, about right here, I would like this actor, in this case it's my name, Nikki Tibbet, to be at 100% opacity. As time moves on, we have 1 second, a second 30. Right here, I still said I would like the opacity to stay at 100%, nice and strong on the screen. However, as my fish was coming in, I decided I would like my opacity to keep decreasing all the way to 0. So I have keyframed, which means I've just simply told After Effects what I want that little actor doing during this little length of time, this little 2 second time period within my presentation. So we are going to keyframe, actually, position together. Once you learn to keyframe one of these, you can apply the same principles on all of them. So we are going to work with position. And I have found the easiest way to keyframe position is actually to start with the position I would like my actor ending up on stage. So I move my time ahead and say I would like my actor here. So in this case, I would like Nikki Tibbet to be in this position at this time. So to do that, I come over here to the stopwatch and I click it. That says freeze. I want you to be here at this time. And you'll notice when I press that freeze button, I got a little diamond. And that means that After Effects now knows at this time in my presentation, this actor is going to be in this position. So the question becomes, where do I want my actor before that? Where do I want my actor coming from? What position do I want my actor in before that? So this is fun in that you get to grab your actor, you move your time back to the beginning, in this case of the presentation, or in your case, it could be in the middle or anywhere, and you decide where you want your actor coming from. Do I want it coming from this part of the stage, this part, anywhere? It can literally start from any part of the stage. In this case, we'll make it easy. And I'm just going to say I want my actor entering from this part of the stage. And I let go, and you'll notice that another little diamond appears. That's it. You keyframed. You told After Effects that starting right here in the time, you want your actor up here in this position. You keyframed it. And over when we got here, you wanted your actor landing here. So we're just going to play that by pulling our time ruler back. I'm going to press the space bar. The composition will start, and there our actor entered. One thing you'll notice is a little bit jerky when the actor came in. In this case, actor again being my name, it just came in a little clunkily. So to change that, it's not a problem. You're just going to highlight both diamonds, press F9, and you're going to add an easy ease that's just going to smooth out your transition, and it's just going to come in a little bit nicer. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but that came in a little quickly. So the other thing you can do if you don't like how quickly it's coming in or how slowly it's coming in, it's easily changed by moving one of these keyframes. So if you think about it, we told After Effects that we want our actor here at this time, and we want our actor moving here at this time. If we want to slow that down, all we have to do is grab one of the keyframes and move it away from the other, which slows the distance between the two at the time. So here our actor begins and it comes in a lot slower and ends. And if we feel like that's too slow and we actually want our actor coming in very quickly, just move it together, and that says the position starts here and ends here in a very quick movement. So you have a lot of options with keyframing. You can tell them to speed up or slow down. All you have to do is just slide that little slider. You can make it as fancy or simple as you want it to be. you can stop the video here and start playing in After Effects right now. Bring your media in, decide where you want it in your timeline, start moving stuff around and building your stage and creating something amazing. However, if you'd like to continue, let's keep going, and I'm going to show you how to add an effect in After Effects. To add an effect in After Effects, you're going to go up here to the Work panel, and you're going to see a lot of different effects. If I click here, it's just almost completely overwhelming just how many effects you have. It's very exciting in the fact that you can add effect to any type of media. So if you want to add it to one of your images, if you want to add it to your text, if you want to add it to a shape, you can do that. In this case, I know where I want to add it and I know what effect I want. So I'm going to start typing RIP here. I know that I want the ripple effect and I see it right there. So I'm going to click on it and grab it and I'm going to drag it over to my seaweed. So the fun part of effects is that you can keyframe effects too. Once you put it on there, you'll see this little FX. You'll know you've added an effect. So in this case, you can tell that I added an effect to the bubble earlier. So I'm going to click that down so we can see it. I'm going to pull my slider across and you can see right here these two hourglass figures show that I added an effect to the bubble and the effect that I added was shatter. And you can see that when it hits my keyframe, it shatters. I said I want the bubble to be normal, 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 and then shatter, keyframed. So again, as the director, I told After Effects what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it using keyframes right here. Okay, so we're going to click that off. But when I think about the seaweed, yes, I could decide that maybe I want the seaweed rippling right here when the bubble passes and it starts rippling. But actually, I don't really want to keyframe the seaweed and make it happen at a certain point. I would like to just have it do it throughout the presentation. So instead of picking a keyframe, I'm actually just going to add the effect onto the piece of media, in this case, the seaweed. So you can see the radius right now is 0, which means there is 0 ripple on my seaweed. So to add some ripple, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to slide my slider to the right a bit. Let's just go to 86, give it a nice good ripple, and you can see already that I have some rippling going on. So let's just bring our slider back and hit our playhead. And you will notice that we have some nice underwater movement here with After Effects where our seaweed's just rippling throughout the thing that we know water is running. Clearly, the adjustments and possibilities for actors on your stage, on your presentation are absolutely endless. You could go on and on. Look down here, we have center of ripple, wave speed, wave height. It's so delightful what you can do in After Effects. However, it's also maybe why it can be somewhat intimidating, but also so beloved because you can create engaging presentations without limits on your creativity. You can go load your media, set your stage, tell your actors what you want them to do, when you want them to do it, and having them leave your stage when you're done. Create amazing presentation and enjoy After Effects today.